Is this a drill or something?
Greetings, Exalted Ones. My name is Dash. Star Wars The Force Awakens heavily implies that Rey is the daughter of Luke Skywalker, yet somehow doesn't remember how or why, and I'm going to explain how this is possible. The first place that they actually pushed it very heavily. In the teaser trailer number 2, you hear Luke say, "The Force is strong in my family. My father has it, my sister have it, I have it, and you have it too." And that was a strong indication that he was speaking to the main protagonist and telling them that they had the Force and they were a part of his family. Now, Finn himself hasn't shown that he's a Force sensitive, of course, compared to Rey. Rey has the Skywalker level of Force ability. She goes toe to toe with Kylo Ren with little to no training, or remembered training that is, and obviously with the mind probe, he pushes into her mind and then she pushes back and starts to pick things up from there, and it really snowballs. And the only other person we've seen do that with little to no training is Luke Skywalker himself against Darth Vader in The Empire Strikes Back, or even in A New Hope, doing things like miraculously flying and blowing up the Death Star. Speaking of A New Hope, Luke Skywalker's story reads very similar to Rey's. Think about it. Luke was left on the planet, a desert planet of Tatooine, with no knowledge of his real birth father. Rey is left on the planet of Jakku. It's never told who her birth parents were or if she actually knows their names, but she was left there just like Luke, except without the care of Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. So there is actually a theory which the North Star himself has actually put out, and it's really smart. It's called a memory rub, and it's something that was shown in Star Wars The Clone Wars, the Mortis story arc, where basically somebody could touch someone else's mind and wipe their memory. Now, why would this be important? Well, if Kylo Ren had totally destroyed the Jedi Academy and Luke Skywalker was afraid that anybody close to him would be hurt, and he flees out into wild space, and he had a daughter called Rey, the first thing he would do was get her to somebody safe, like he did himself, because even though he hated his childhood, he probably knew it was for the best. Get her on a planet safe, wipe her memory so that she didn't go looking for him and didn't know about it, so that she was safe from the First Order. That's the last place they would look, and she would, live an isolated yet safe life. And to Luke, that probably felt like the right thing, protecting her, or even under the care of the great Core Vela himself, or Core Sailor. I forget his name, the old guy played by Max von Sydow, who was actually shown to be a friend of the Jedi. It makes sense he was watching over her like the old Ben Kenobi, as Ben Kenobi was watching over Luke. So that makes sense in itself. She could obviously have been raised by her mother and not know that her father is Luke Skywalker, and at Luke's behest finds out and says, take her somewhere else. This makes less sense as to the fact that obviously Luke Skywalker wouldn't run away on his daughter, or maybe she was too young to know his name, though honestly, Luke is probably a name a kid can pick up by 6 years old, so she would know she's a Skywalker, and there's no reason other than the fact that, the memory rub would happen, or that she was orphaned out for another reason that is unforeseen that we don't know, and she didn't know her heritage. So those are the two big clues, but honestly, at this point, she is absolutely, with a power level, with the things that they've dropped in the teasers before, with a story that parallels Luke Skywalker, 100% she is Rey Skywalker. I don't believe that she's a solo, by the fact that obviously Han and Leia just totally looked blank when they saw her. And when she met Luke, it was a very emotional moment, and they probably know it. Ripping out the whole line of, "I am your father." Luke saying that to Rey in episode 8, which also mirrors The Empire Strikes Back. No surprise there, as Star Wars likes to rhyme. That totally makes sense that they'll open up that can of worms, and then he'll become the Yoda-like figure to train her to take on Kylo Ren, which is obviously her cousin, and they've got blood ties, so it makes it exponentially harder to kind of realize that you're related to a monster. All of this sounds familiar because this is how Star Wars rolls. But the beauty of this video is it's just the start of the discussion. Our love of Star Wars, it surrounds and it binds us together. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think about my theory of Rey being the daughter of Luke Skywalker, memory rubbed out, and left on Jakku just like he was on Tatooine? Because if you love Star Wars, I want to talk to you about it. It's as simple as that. If you want to stay up to date with the latest Star Wars videos on origins, games, and theories, don't forget to use those force powers of yours and hit subscribe. And hey, leave a comment below about what you want to see in future videos. It may just get covered. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you, always.